another episode of Rich, Hot, and Free. I'm Jill Stanton, and holy crap, this episode feels wild to be shooting right now because for the first time in 16 years, I'm living by myself. Oh man, guys, I have so much to fill you in on. But I wanted to shoot this because when I first started this podcast, I remember saying to Josh, like, I am not starting a podcast unless I can truly be all of myself on it. If I can share what I'm navigating, what I believe, how I'm feeling, like what my actual life experience is like, what I believe in business, like my experiences, my wisdom, like all of that kind of stuff. There's no way I could shoot a podcast and preach about power and identity and emotional intelligence and courage and audacity if I then could not back that up with being honest about what I'm navigating. And one of my core virtues, well, three of my top virtues is courage, number one, second is authenticity, and third is connection. And so I shoot this in service of that, in service of being that, living that, just embodying that to the highest degree. So where do I even start with this? I mean, Josh and I have been together for 16 years, and we've had an amazing life together. We've traveled all over the world. We've lived in 11 different countries together. We've had so many adventures together. We've made millions of dollars together. We created a movement with Screw the 9 to 5. We have an amazing little boy who is just the sweetest and most resilient kid. We've hosted events together, spoken on stage together, navigated some of the highest highs and the lowest lows together. We have an amazing friendship. We don't battle. And also over the last 3.5 years or so, we've had some pretty big conversations and some pretty big come to Jesus moments and some moments that just really started to open up our awareness that maybe our futures aren't actually aligned the way that we thought they were. And towards the end of, the end of August 2025, obviously. Towards the end of August, we started exploring what it might look like to take a conscious separation, like a 1-year intentional separation. And on September, when was it? Of course, I know the dates. September 27th was the day that we made the decision. Very mutual, super supportive, super amicable. Like I've been saying to a couple of my friends and to our families and whatnot, like I actually can't imagine it going better, which sounds insane to say because I'm talking about taking a separation or being in a separation or doing a separation, however you would say that. But like, I honestly can't imagine it going better. So on September 27th, we made the very mutual decision that we needed space. We needed time away. It was very obvious to us that we just weren't bringing out the highest and brightest in each other, if I could be really real. We were no longer lifting each other up the way that we used to. And we just couldn't shake this knowing that we both had that it was time to take some conscious space from each other. Now, that was September 27th and then October 22nd. Wait, what did I just say? September 27th and then October 22nd, we moved into our individual places. So Josh is just like 4 minutes away from me right now. It's actually really great. I have our homeschool situation here in my house. So I see Kai every day and then we do 1 week on, 1 week off. And there's so many things I want to share about this, and I'll probably jump all over the place because I'm just like, here's all my thoughts and feelings. But I've been so present to the beauty of this all. And also, I've had a lot of dark moments with it. It's been really sad. Not in a heartbroken way. Both of us don't feel heartbroken about this or over this. But we do feel as though we're grieving the end of a beautiful chapter. Or I don't even want to say the end. It's like we both hold space for the highest possible outcomes and vision. Of course. We love each other to death. And also, it's felt like we are grieving the end of a beautiful chapter for ourselves. One that, honestly, 1 year ago, I would have never seen coming. And over the last month or so, we've just had so many beautiful, supportive, intentional, honest, transparent, like vulnerable conversations, trying to find our feet in this process, trying to create a situation that feels good to us. You know, like Josh and I have never done anything conventionally. We've lived all over the world. We had an online business before that was really even a thing. We've just always done life our way. We homeschool, we live in Thailand, you know, we have so many pillars of our life, so many elements of our life, so many areas of our life where we create our own way of doing things. And so now we're bringing that intention into our marriage. So we've actually had so many beautiful, intentional, loving, honest, supportive conversations. And also we've cried all the tears. Like, I'm not going to pretend I haven't had some of the darkest moments I've had over the last 5-ish weeks. But if I'm being really, actually, I want to kind of like finesse that. I had darker moments before this. It's just different. I had more moments of being like scared of like, oh my God, are we insane? Are we sabotaging? Are we blowing up our life right now? Like, are we harming Kai? Are we being stupid? Like, I've had so many ups and downs and what ifs and like fear spirals. And when I come back to my most inner knowing, and same with Josh, we both know that this is the most aligned move for us, and we feel lighter making this decision. Now, again, we're still amazing partners. That's probably been the biggest mindfuck of all of this, is like over these last 5 weeks, as we've really found our way into this transition, and we've had to have all these conversations with our family and our friends to like loop people in on what's going on in our life, you know, obviously tell our homeschool teacher, like, you're going to be coming to a new place, and telling my kids, like, best friends' parents, you know, just all the people that you would have in your life who need to be looped in that you don't really think about when you first make these kind of when you first make these decisions. But over the last 5 weeks of telling people, we've just had some really beautiful moments where we've just had great family moments, like when we had to tell Kai that we're going to be moving into a boy's house and a girl's house. Well, he had questions about that. How long? When do we get our old house back? Like, how long until we're 3 bears again? And so we've just been honest with him. Like, we're always 3 bears. 3 bears forever. We just have a boy's house and a girl's house because it helps us get along better. And so as those conversations come up, or as those questions come up, not just from my son, but obviously my parents, Josh's family, our friends, people who feel like almost like blindsided by this, you know what I mean? Like, we've had to have a lot of conversations around them and around that, and hold a lot of space for people to be like, what? Like, slightly confused, and also have their own reactions, have their own experiences around this, and be able to, you know, stay grounded in what's true for us, hold space for them, answer their questions, and also hold space for each other in this transition. You know, I've had, specifically myself, like, I can't speak so much for Josh, but like for myself, I've had days where I just literally cried in bed for like 4 hours straight, the most like primal, guttural, just like deeply felt moments of just, I guess the only way I can say it is like grief. Like, I feel like I'm grieving the end of this beautiful chapter in my life, and mustering the courage to step into the next one. You know what I mean? And I think, this is why I always say, like, take your intention seriously. Make sure you design the virtues that support your life consciously, because, you know, like I said to you guys, some of my core virtues are courage, authenticity, and connection. And if I truly want to experience deep connection on the receiving end, and also be the one to provide connection or give connection to someone else, like, I have to be willing to be authentic to myself and what I desire and what my needs are and what I really want for my life, who I want to spend my life with. And then I have to have the courage to communicate that, not just, you know, admitting it to myself, but having this conversation with Josh, having the conversations with our families and our friends and the people in our life. It has been one of the most expansive chapters in my life, but not in the way that you would probably think. It's like I have become a different version of myself in the last 5 weeks, just simply being the one to navigate this for myself and stay open and inform, hello, manifester in human design, but to inform the people who need to know in my life what's going on. And so while it's been big and a lot and sometimes overwhelming, it's also been beautiful. Like, I've been so present to the level of intentionality that Josh and I are showing up for each other with. I'm so present to the moments where we have Three Bears dinners, or like Josh was over here last night playing Nintendo with me and Kai. You know what I mean? Like or we went for a lake walk, or we go for, family drives. Like, we've had a lot of these beautiful moments even inside this transition. And I'm just forever grateful for all the work that I've done for myself, for sure, but also the work that we've done together, because I don't think without that we would have been able to have this gracious release like we've had. I mean, our first big come to Jesus was, when was it? September 2022. And then our second big one, which I've talked about in previous podcasts, I've talked about on other people's podcasts. Like, if you've been in my world for any amount of time, you've probably heard me talk about this like moment in 2023 where I threw a grenade into my life and I was just like, well, I don't want this. So what can we do about this? And off the back of that, we did some beautiful work on ourselves, and also just over that, from that moment until now, just found our way back into familiar dynamics that feel, just like the truth for us, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, well, this is how we operate together. And like, could we continue to do more intentional work to see if we could change it to be even more conscious in our relationship, even more intentional in how we do this? Probably. And also, we just know that this is true for us right now. We know that this is the next best move for us right now. We know that this feels like the most correct move in our life for who we want to be, what we want to experience, and how we want to show up for ourselves, for each other, for our family, and for our futures, individually and collectively. And so I'm trying to think of all the things I want to tell you guys. I have like so much. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions. I've also helped a lot of my personal friends navigate these moments in their relationships as well. It feels like, I don't know what happened in the 20s. It's like a lot of us collectively woke up and shook ourselves out of this, like, I don't know, blissfully awake or blissfully asleep state that we were in. And like, once you do that work on yourself and you start to do the work of like figuring out what you actually want, what your standards are, what your needs are, what your desires are, what your values are, then you have to be willing, if you truly want to experience all of that, you have to be willing to do the work, to be it, to live it, to make the decisions in alignment with it, to make the moves in service of that. And so this is where I find myself right now. This is my first full week in my new place in the Babe Cave. And I mean, it feels homey. I love it. It's quiet. It's peaceful. I love that I get to see my son every day, no matter what, whether it's my on week or my off week. And I love how Josh and I continue to show up for each other. We did Halloween together. We've gone out for dinner with friends together. We've shown up for each other in the biggest and best ways. And for that, I'm forever grateful. Like I said, it's been really interesting to be so present to the beauty of this. Most people would not consider this a beautiful time in their life. And also, it's just been, if I could like sum it all up, I would say it's been anchored in the energy of liberation. It's like we liberated ourselves. We told ourselves the truth. We told each other the truth. We told the people in our life the truth. We told our son the truth. I mean, 7-year-old version of the truth, stuff that he can understand. And we've both had moments that have felt very big for us. And also we've met each other in those moments. We've held space for each other. We've leaned into those conversations. We never shied away from big emotions, big reactions, big conversations, big admissions. It's just been wild to be a part of it. I remember in 2023 when I had my second come to Jesus moment where I threw the grenade into our life. And I was with a friend at lunch and we were talking about it, and she said, prepare for this to be really hard. And I just so wish I could have gone back to that version of me and to say, like, you don't have to buy into that. Like, yes, maybe in that moment, it would have been hard. April 2023, Jill and Josh, yeah, we might have gone through a harder time if we had done it then. But we actually went to bat for ourselves. We poured ourselves into marriage coaching. We worked with a marriage coach twice a week, every single week for 6 months straight. You know what I mean? We showed up for each other. We had big conversations. We did date nights, overnights, everything we could do to pour into ourselves to rework our marriage. And so now as we find ourselves on the other side of that, all that work, all that intentionality, all that devotion, I feel like that's why we are in this moment right now where it's a very emotionally grounded, mature, undramatic, non-dramatic experience for both of us. I want nothing but the best for him, and he wants nothing but the best for me. And we both collectively want the best for our son. And because of that, because we know that to be true for ourselves, we do the work to have the conversations. Will there probably be more logistics and bigger conversations that come up? Absolutely. We've had to have big conversations around like, what happens if someone meets someone? You know, like what happens if I'm out in, you know, one of the areas here in 6 to 9 months from now and I see Josh out with a girl? Like, what is that moment going to be like? That'll be wild to experience. You know what I mean? So we've had to have a lot of conversations. Like, what do we do for finances and childcare? And what do we do if someone meets someone? And how do we navigate this scenario? And what do we do in emergencies? Oops, I hope I didn't just pull out my cord. Anyways, and so, yeah, it's been really wild. It's been a wild, beautiful, messy, peaceful, supportive, mature, non-dramatic, non-reactive experience. And so if you're navigating something like this in your life, maybe you're not at this moment yet, but maybe you're starting to have like that little niggle inside of you, that little whisper that is starting to turn into a scream. I just want you to, I want to encourage you to explore that and to hold the highest possibility. Whether that's separating or staying together, it's like, what if this was actually the best experience of my life? What if this went beautifully well for us? What if this was the most aligned decision that we could make together? What if this is what lifts us up into our next highest and brightest version of ourselves? What if this is the best move we ever made for our marriage? What if this is the best move we ever made for our family? It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. I so heavily reject the idea that it has to be dramatic and hard and combative and full of conflict and high emotions and name calling and none of that. It doesn't actually have to be any of that. All of that is a reflection of the level of identity and level of personal work you're willing to do on yourself or that your partner is willing to do on themselves. It can be a very intentional experience. It can be a very non-dramatic experience. And also, that requires you to do a lot of work on yourself. You have to disengage from the desire to attack or get riled up or, you know, blame or get defensive or shut down or avoid, like having an intentional experience like this. And again, I'm in the very beginning stages of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm only like 6-ish, 2 months into this, you know what I mean? So I know that things could come up. I know that situations could change. I know that, you know, as we start to make it more official, maybe there's different conversations that need to have. And also, because I am so clear on who I want to be and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do, it makes it so much easier for me to lead myself in these moments. I don't avoid feelings just because they feel heavy. I lean into the emotions. I lean into holding myself in that, leading myself through that, giving myself compassion, allowing myself to grieve, allowing myself to be messy in this, not trying to get it right, not trying to control other people's perceptions of it. I just allow myself to be in it. And I think one of the biggest acts of courage I've ever allowed myself to embody is just telling you this right now. Telling my parents this when we knew. Telling our friends this once we knew. Telling Josh's family once we knew. Allowing yourself to be seen in those moments. I feel like I'm so fucking proud of myself for how I showed up for myself, for Josh, how he showed up for me, how he showed up for himself, and how we both showed up for our family. So no, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be very intentional. It can be rooted in service and love and alignment. You know, I struggle to believe this wasn't an aligned experience for us. Everything has been green lights since we made this decision. I found my place the next day. It is literally the most cute little babe cave in such a beautiful area of Phuket. I'm obsessed with it. Same with Josh. He freaking loves his place. He's surrounded by his buddies. Kai loves his place. Kai told me that I'm not allowed at the boys' house because boys rule and girls drool. So it's like anytime he has questions, we answer them. Anytime each of us have questions, we hold space and we answer them for each other. We show up for each other. We meet each other in the uncertainty of it all, in the newness of it all. And we allow ourselves to be honest with what we actually want and where we see our lives going. And for once, not for once, we've had an amazing ride. But for once this year, I would say, everything feels like it's clicking into place. And it feels like the old version of us had to fall away. I also am so present to this. If you're into numerology, I'm so present to the fact that all of this is happening in a collective year 9, the year of completions. Also, Josh and I are each individually in a personal year. Josh is in a personal year 2, and I'm in a personal year 6. Both of those are about relationships. It's wild how much our years have matched up to show that we are, doing what's right for us. And so I wanted to let you guys know so that I can be true to myself. I can't imagine existing online on social media or with this podcast trying to be like, oh, Josh isn't here right now. Or like trying to frame my place so that you can't see that it's just me living here or that it's me and Kai here. It's like, fuck that, man. If people have thoughts about it, okay, cool. You don't have to live my life. Whatever. Have all your thoughts. Like, I don't give a shit. It's my life. It's my desires. It's my needs. It's what I want to experience. That's what I'm in for. That's what I'm here for. To create that. To step into the next level version of me who is unaffected, unbothered by what people on the internet might think about some decisions that I make for my life. I've never been more proud of myself. I've never been more proud of Josh. I've never been more proud of us collectively making hard decisions in service of alignment. And one thing that I'm walking away with from this whole experience is how fucking deeply I trust myself. I know no matter what, I've got me. I've got my son. I've got me and Josh. Not that he needs me to have him, but you know what I mean? It's like, I've got myself. I trust myself. I'll always back myself. I'll always do what I know is aligned for me. And I'll always embody the courage it takes to create that. And so if you also find yourself in a moment of uncertainty, or you're also facing a hard decision in service of your next level of alignment, I just offer you this. Most people don't have the courage to admit what they truly want, and so they continue to live a life that doesn't feel like them. You're better than that. You deserve more than that. And your next level of power and identity and courage and alignment and authenticity and connection and joy and vibrancy and radiance and aliveness is on the other side of a hard decision. You don't get there without going to bat for yourself. And so if you find yourself in this moment, just know there's so much magic on the other side of a decision. There's so much magic on the other side of trusting yourself enough to make the decisions in service of who you want to be, and then backing that with action. Most people don't think they can handle it. You can handle so much more than you give yourself credit for. All you need is the guts to go for it. So thank you so much for being here as I share this part of my life with you. I appreciate it so deeply. If you're also going through a moment like this, just know I get it. DM me on IG. I'm like so here for these kind of conversations. I've been having so many conversations around this as I start to loop people in on what's going on for me. There's so much magic if you're willing to navigate a little bit of uncertainty in service of your highest truth, your highest level of authenticity, your highest level of alignment. So again, thank you so much for not just tuning in, but just for being here and for letting me share this side of my life. I appreciate it so deeply. And I'll be back next week with some fire to help you step into your next level of your highest alignment, your highest level of personal power, and your next level of identity. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you're vibing with this, if something landed for you in this episode, hit me up on IG DMs at I am Jill Stanton, and make sure you're subscribed to the show so you never miss another episode. I've got so much fire coming your way. So thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you next time. Peace.